Spinfish Guru or andywedgbury.co.uk. Find me however you choose. I'm going to speak to you very quickly about readability of your texts. Texts need to be readable so that people read them, so that they share them, so that they find them easier to digest and therefore come back and read more. So I've written a very quick article about readability. It's a little bit short, but this will give us the idea. And here we go. So this readability starts in Word for me, and to do that, to check your readability in Word, you simply click spelling and grammar check, and spelling and grammar is of course correct because I did that before I came. It was awful before, but we want a little bit more information than that, so let's go to File, let's go to Options, and in Proofing we'll show readability statistics. So we click there, we click OK, and we press read and spelling again, and then we'll get a different screen altogether. Okay, so we have flesh readabilities, we have sentence and length, and we have words per sentence 18.5. Flesh says it's quite easy to read. As a little guideline, the lower the readability level, the more difficult it is to read, the higher the easier it is. And just to give you a kind of idea of what other publications readability is, I believe National Geographic is something like 65%, and you know, things like Time magazine might be lower, something like 50%. So the more technical basically the publication, the more difficult it is to read. We are bloggers and we want our work to get to the widest possible audience, so we want to keep our reading ease up there in the 60s at least. Okay, now the things that we need to take into account, first of all, when we drag this into Yoast, into WordPress in fact, in a minute, it's going to make issue with any sentences that are more than 20 words long. This here says our average is 18.5. Now I know there's some 20 plus word long sentences in there. We'll see how Yoast under WordPress takes that. And there's some passive sentences in there as well, which we'll have to have a look at. But basically this is good enough for me at the WordPress stage. Now sorry. So let's go into WordPress, have a very quick look at my website, Andy Wedgbury. It's a simple website. I'm interested in fishing. I'm also interested in the ways that social media can be used to sell and promote fishing and the way that fishermen use social media. And we're going to write a quick post, and our post is going to be, I've already written it once, but we're going to delete that just for the purposes of this video. Pretend like you didn't see this, like I didn't cheat and experiment before I came on video. Okay, so now we have Yoast. Yoast is wonderful. If you don't know about Yoast already, you need to. It will help you with your SEO and it will help you with your readability, as I'm about to demonstrate. Okay, so let's go back to the post. Let's get this show on the road. So I've just called this one readability. You will all know that that's way too short a title, but for this demonstration that's fine. And we're going to copy our pre-checked text into WordPress, and we're going to make sure that we have paste as text selected. We're going to paste that in, and we're going to see how Yoast likes it. We can already see that Yoast doesn't like it. It says its readability needs improvement. Now there's a few things that I knew were coming up. The problem was with the more than 20 words, 37.5% of my sentences are more than 20 words long. I do tend to do that, and it says that too many of my sentences use a passive voice. Okay, I struggle with passive voice editing, but we'll have a go. Okay, so let's have a look. There's a great thing. Oh, okay, so the text does not contain any subheadings. Is not a huge problem. It's not a huge problem if it's contextual. If you need subheadings, you need them. If you don't, you don't. So let's have a look first of all at the very long sentences. So here we go. The great thing about Yoast is we just click on the I and it will tell us where our sentences are long. Now I've already worked quite obviously on the first 2 paragraphs of this post. But as you can see where it's been highlighted, Yoast is telling me that those sentences are too long. So let's change that. So to demonstrate this, I've written this short post, which is virtually unreadable. I'm also going to make a quick video, full stop. Let's put that this will demonstrate how you can make sure your content is accessible. We don't need to your reader because we all know who we're talking about. Let's put a full stop there. See how Yoast thinks of those changes, and you can see that the sentences are coming down. 27.8 now is too long. Oh goodness me, 27.8 now is too long. Also, you can see that we're having a bit of a hack at that passive voice problem. Okay, so let's have a look now where these 27% of changes could be made. So we've got no matter what your meta, we don't really need to put that in because that's kind of implied by what follows it. So let's change that to simply you need to remember that in the eyes of you, you are a writer. You need to remember. Oh, let's just undo taking that out. I just thought of a better way. No matter what your subject is, you need to remember a few things. I wonder if that's a few things. We'll start. Does that help at all? No. It's still over 20 words. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's take that comma out. That might be confusing things a little bit. Okay. So no matter what your subject matter, we'll delete that. Yeah. In the eyes of you, you are a writer. Yeah, okay, so there we go. So that simple change has fixed it. So okay, so no matter what your subject matter, we'll put a comma in there. In the eyes of your in the eyes of your reader, you are first a writer, second a teacher, and third an expert. And that has changed our sentences down to below the magical 25. It has also given us a improved passive voice score of 22.2. So let's have a look at that passive voice. Now in passive voice editing, the person that, the subject is being acted upon rather than doing the action. Now there's lots online about passive voice. You need to read it because I'm no expert and I do struggle with the concept of passive voice, but we'll soldier on anyway and see if there's anything we can do. So let's have a look. We're going to highlight where this passive voice is occurring. If you want your audience so we're active. So if you want your audience, so we could change that. I'm not sure if this will work. Should make your writing as easy as read and yeah. So let's have a look now. We've got down to 16 point something. This should make your writing easy. Sometimes. Okay, what I'm saying is it's sometimes nice just to read something that makes sense. Okay, you should make your right sense. Okay, we'll leave that for a moment, maybe come back to it because it's a complicated one. Okie dokie, we're struggling. I told you I struggled with passive voice, but there we go. We will try and get rid of something. Yeah, so here we go. Poorly proofread. Poorly proofread, hard to understand text. Is going to leave people more confused than when they started out. That's helped a bit, so we're getting there. We need 1.1% to be less passive. Okay, so your teaching should be educational and entertaining. And there we do. So okay, so we got rid of most of our passive voice. It's very difficult and for me to really fully understand. So as you can see, we've got the readability up now to a good level, and Yoast is happy with it. Now this little bit here, if you were to be anal about it, you could find somewhere where we could put in a subtitle. So we could just put readability is the key to content. Capital. Okay, let's turn that into a subheading of let's call it 2. Okay, and there we go. We have a fully green list of potential problems. Our readability is green. We're happy. People will be happy when they come to our site. Let's have a quick look at what we've written. There may be some editing issues going on here, but I think that we are done. It takes a little while. I think that may be because my internet's particularly slow today. We don't need that page. But the point is that when we are writing for an audience, we need to make our reading as easily accessible to the perhaps there's people out there that aren't great readers or don't like to plow through long and confusing words and would like to just get it over with. It sounds ridiculous, but I read a lot of academic texts, and I sometimes would like to just read something nice and simple, take my brain out reading, and that's what I really do enjoy doing. So that's what we're writing for. We're writing to make our text nice and readable and nice and easy to digest. So that's the subject of today's post. I will put this video also with this text, but I think that was reasonably successful. Thank you very much.